It's late at night. I'm in a barn. I'm looking at a young man who's hanging by a rope tied around his wrists. His face is covered in bruises. His eyes are closed. And all around him are men with guns. Then one of the men steps forward, takes out a knife, and cuts the rope. The young man falls onto the hay. He's not moving. And I don't rush forward to help him. I can't, because I'm one of the men holding a gun. This is a story about determining which is the lesser of two evils. And as you've probably already guessed, the two evils are being an extra in a Korean soap opera and graduate school. So, those are the two forces that were kind of pulling me in two different directions. It was 2007. I kind of did the straight arrow thing my whole life, right from high school to college to grad school, and I was in a biology lab working on my PhD just like a normal nerdy person would. But I think because I had this straight arrow lifestyle, something really appealed to me about the world of the starving artist. And so at the same time, I was trying to kind of start a second career as a comedian and character actor. And it wasn't going so great. One day I get a call from this agent that I work with, and she said, hey, are you available tomorrow? We need people to be thugs in a Korean soap opera. And my first thought was, she does not remember what I look like. Or maybe in Korea this is legitimately imposing, I don't know. But then I thought, well, tomorrow it's Monday. I'm supposed to be in the lab. But the worst part of grad school is also the best part of grad school. On the one hand, you stay there for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years because no one notices when you're there. But it also means no one notices when you're not there. I took a 3-week honeymoon. I remember I walked into my advisor's office and said, hey, I'll be back in mid-August. He was like, who are you? So sure, Monday, I can go, why not? So the next morning I wake up early and I get in my car, drive to downtown DC to pick up a man named Hugo that the agent has asked me to give a ride to. Hugo is an aspiring character actor and voiceover talent. And he tells me in the car ride out there about all the things he's done. He says, you know, biggest thing I've done, just this February, I did the voiceover for a 6-second mini commercial that aired during American Idol. Now, based on how you heard that should tell you whether you yourself were cut out to be a character actor. Because most of you probably heard that and thought, wow, that is the rinky-dinkiest accolade I could imagine. But there's a small subset of you, like me, who probably heard that and thought, oh my God, wow, could you imagine? You're famous, Hugo! So we get to the filming site, and it's a 2.5-hour drive away. It's in rural Virginia. It is the largest civilian collection of military tanks. This guy on a farm has like 90 tanks. And they're filming it there because tanks have something to do with the plot of this soap opera. That's as much as I can tell you, because the thing's in Korean. So I don't know why there's tanks, but there's tanks. So I go first to the costume truck where they give me a black shirt that I leave buttoned up to about here, lots of chest hair showing, a black suit, and of course, Ray-Bans. I am now a thug, or possibly a goon. And there's about a dozen of us thugs and goons under the extras tent. And one of the first scenes they filmed, the director says, okay, we're going to need, let's say, 4 thugs. You, and you. And she points right to me. So here's the scene. The Korean heartthrob, the guy who's later hung by his wrists, he's getting threatened by one of the American actors. And I don't remember the whole scene, but the American actor says something that ends with, you better keep your nose clean. It's in English. I guess they're going to subtitle it, but I don't know what they're going to... How do you translate you better keep your nose clean into English? It's such a weird thing. He said, you better keep your nose clean. When he says that, he walks away, 4 thugs walk with him. That's the scene. So that, for an hour and a half. And I know that's what television is like, it just takes a while, but you have to bear in mind, it's like 95 degrees out. There is no shade, we're on a farm, it's almost noon, and I'm wearing a black suit. By the end of this thing, I look like a lobster, except for 2 little rectangles, one around each eye where the Ray-Bans are. And I learned, for the first time really, what an extra is. An extra is not an actor. An extra is a prop. The same way that a director might say, you know what look good in the back of that scene? Potted plant. They could just as easily say, you know what look good there? Person. I feel like Greg Brady in the episode of The Brady Bunch where he tries to become a singer named Johnny Bravo, but it turns out they don't want him for his voice, they only want him because he fits the jacket. That's what an extra is. An extra is someone who fits the jacket. So I'm there fitting the jacket for an hour and a half. We go back under the tent, and all the other extras are staring at us. And I'm assuming it's because we are all sunburned. And I say something like, yeah, really hot out there. One of them says, yeah, but you got screen time. All the others, yeah. They were staring at us with envy because of screen time. And I realized that's the currency that these people trade in. Screen time. And I learned this lesson even more strongly a little later in the afternoon. So it turns out Hugo can make a cat sound. And I can't do it the way he did it. He sucks air between his teeth, but when he does it, it sounds like meow, meow. And he does this a couple of times, just, I don't know why, but then he does it again while they're filming a scene. In fact, while they're filming a scene that we're not even in. They're filming some other scene, Hugo, meow. The director actually has to stop the scene, and she looks over at the extras tent and says, is someone making a cat sound? Hugo. She's like, what the hell, Hugo? Jesus, 6 seconds on American Idol, suddenly the guy thinks he's God's gift to Korean soap operas. It is a long day, full of mostly doing nothing. And at the end of the day, I'm in the car driving back with Hugo. It's been 12 hours. For my 12 hours of work, I am paid $100. If you add in the 5 hours of driving and subtract out the price of gas, and this is 2007 gas, it is well below minimum wage. It is, in fact, and you will never hear anybody say this sentence again, it is less than I was making in grad school. I'm exhausted. I've got heat stroke. It was a day of sitting under a tent and eating cookies and being a human potted plant. And at the end of the day, the director said to all of us, hey, I know we only have you guys for today, but I'm so sorry. We're really behind. If any of you want to come back tomorrow, we'll do the same deal. 12 hours, $100. And I tell Hugo, well, that was interesting, but I don't think I need to do that again. And Hugo says, yeah, that's all right. I can get a ride with one of the other guys tomorrow. I say, Hugo, why do you want to go back? And Hugo says something that I will never forget. He says, I got nothing else to do. And at that moment, it hits me that I have something else to do. I'm supposed to be in the lab, working on my dissertation. I guess I love the lifestyle of the starving artist, but there's part of it I don't really love, and that's the starving. Being an extra in a Korean soap opera, it's interesting and novel unless it's something you have to do. In that regard, it's exactly like eating matzah. So, years later, I am pleased to report that I have finished grad school successfully. Thank you, one person. And as Mike mentioned, just a week ago, I was in Los Angeles filming the 4th season of a show that I host on the Science Channel called Outrageous Acts of Science. As for more than one person. Legitimate PhD. Guy hosts a shitty show where he talks about YouTube clips. Oh my God! Fair enough. But as for Hugo, I hope that he's found success as well. And you will know that he hasn't if you are watching a feature film one day and in the background of a very tense scene, you hear that battle cry of the beleaguered extra. Pew! Thank you.